Hi, Angela.
Nice to see you. I think the last time I saw you, I just keep having you on my shows. That's pretty much our relationship. So first and foremost, we have to congratulate you on your recent pregnancy. We are so happy for you here at Daddy versus Doctor.
Have you announced it yet, or are we?
No, I have.
Okay,
I have announced.
Because that would be bad. Oh, she's pregnant. No, don't tell anybody.
You didn't get the exclusive, Doctor. Sorry about that.
How far along are you?
17. I'm about to be 18 weeks, like tomorrow.
You're doing the math in your head right now. What 18 weeks is?
Yeah. 4 months.
Like 4 months, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So we wanted to know at this stage, do you start buying like the crib? Do you start getting the nursery? Are people telling you what to get as a new mother? Is this happening yet, or are we waiting on those things? Are you preparing? What's going on?
I keep doing the thing where I go, ooh, I have to do that. And then I don't do it. Like, ooh, I have to research what products I actually need. And then I'm like, I'm tired. So I do eventually need to start researching, like, what are the necessities in a nursery? Like, I always said I didn't want kids, so I never bothered to like learn any of these things or care about any of these things. So I really like, obviously I need a crib, and then I need like a changing station, but there's probably other things, like you need like a pad to go on the changing station or something. And I don't know anything.
Okay. So this is what we were talking about. Right. We were talking about having like a welcome kind of bag or a kit that new parents buy, because a lot of new parents, they don't know what to buy. Obviously you need a crib. Are there essentials? Do you
Sebastian's going to drop ship a crate and it's going to explode in your nursery and it's done. Like you walk in, it's done. From the paint on the walls to the carpet to every piece of furniture. Great, right? Yeah. So no, I mean, you do obviously a place to sleep, where we talked about a crib, and a changing station is great, obviously, to change the baby. And then a lot of little things, it seems, right? You know, you need the onesies for the baby. You need diapers and diaper wipes. You're going to need a car seat to bring the baby home. You're probably going to want a chair.
Like a glider chair and things like that. But what about like I hear some people be like, oh, we have a warmer for the wipes. So like the
we
wipes
talked about that. Yeah.
Cold.
I think these are all like no, they're fine. I think they're all like the extras, like the fancy fun things if you want. Are they necessary? I think babies got their butt wiped with cold wipes for a long time before those warmers were. We were talking about it because Sebastian likes warm wipes on himself.
I love them. You'll end up using them.
Wow. You have a wipey warmer for yourself?
I bought one for the kid, but I ended up using it. Which was nice.
What have you bought so far? What do you got?
Nothing. I've been given a lot of gifts. Like, you know, fans have been bringing me gifts to my shows, which is very sweet of them to do. And I got good advice from a friend of mine, because we have to have 2 nurseries, because my husband and I split time with Los Angeles and Nashville. So we have 2 nurseries that we have to build. And so my friend was like, take the free things from your friends. Like if your friend has a crib, they're like, we never even used this crib. He didn't like it, or he grew out of whatever. Take the crib. And I'm like, I have no issue with hand-me-downs at all. I grew up on hand-me-downs my whole life. So I'm like, yes, bring me the hand-me-downs. So I haven't purchased anything yet, but I'm going to like, eventually I'm going to make a list and be like, okay, this is what I need. And then like my cousin already, she's like, we have a crib at my mom's house for when she babysat, and they only spent the night once there. So the crib never got used. It's at my mom's. You can have it. So now I'm just like, great, we'll ship that to LA instead of buying one and stuff like that.
You don't have to make a list. There's this book called Eat, Sleep, Poop. And in the beginning is a checklist of the things for you to get.
Actually, it's Dr. Cohen's book, and we'll actually send you a copy. Trying to make $10.99.
No, I mean, she could pay $12 for the book. No, okay. We will send you a book. But it has the checklist of all the things you need and explanations of why you need them. So then you don't have to think, because you don't want to have to think about this stuff.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so
It's been a little daunting. I'm still getting used to the fact that I'm pregnant. Like that's still a thing where I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Okay, I need to buy something.
how is the pregnancy going? Is, are we having morning sickness? I know my wife was having, some issues with, like getting on throwing up, and has it been pretty easy or?
So first trimester was a lot of nausea. I didn't throw up, bless the Lord. But it was a lot of nausea, acid reflux like never before. Like I'm already like a burpy girl, but this was like violent burps where I'm like, I can't even sleep. Like I have to sleep like sitting up because I ate a piece of bread, like because I couldn't really eat that much stuff because I was so nauseous. But anything that I would eat, it was just acid reflux for the whole rest of the day, and trying to go to sleep was awful. But now in my second trimester, so much better. And back to just regular burpee girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to pretend like I don't burp. But now second trimester is so much better. And luckily I was off the road for my first trimester. I had like 4 shows right in the beginning, and then I was done and I had a little break. And so it was like perfect timing because I was exhausted. I couldn't do anything. I would get up and like have breakfast and then be like, I need a nap. And then I would just go back to bed.
Wow.
It was hard.
So as a comedian, touring comedian, right? You're going to have a baby in a few months. Do you have like a plan in regards to like, because I know Lana and I went through this, having a baby. It's hard to be away on the road. Do you take the baby? Are you taking some time off? Have we decided like, how do you manage the career and now being a mother? Have you given that any deep thought, or are you just kind of, I'll deal with it as it comes, or what's the plan there?
We have thought about it. And luckily I have some amazing women who have gone before me that have been very generous with their wisdom and what they've learned and what's worked for them. Eliza Schlesinger has been very helpful to me in, this is how she's done touring with a baby. I'm probably going to be reaching out to Ali Wong and asking her, like, how are you, doing touring with, she did it while she was pregnant and with babies. So, thankfully I have women that I can reach out to and be like, hey, how do you do this? But as of right now, I am planning on taking time off, like probably 3 months of time after the baby, and then go back in the fall. And if the baby's going to come with me, or am I just leaving on like short weekends and coming right back? I haven't figured that out yet. I'm sure that'll all be based on like, am I breastfeeding? What kind of help do I have on the road? So I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Just figuring it out. All good. All good. Now, you said that, you haven't really given children much thought in the past. Now that you're pregnant, what was your family's reaction? Were they surprised? Were they like, it's about time? What was the vibe with the family? I mean, you're coming from like a Mexican American family where, Mexican families tend to, they're all about kids and having large families. So what was the reaction? Was it?
Everyone was very happy and mostly surprised. There were a few people that knew, like my mom and my sister were pretty much the only ones that knew that I was actually trying, that I had changed my mind about kids and that I was actually trying. My brothers kind of knew a little bit, but they don't really care about that kind of stuff. Like they kind of knew, but they were both very shocked when I told them that I was pregnant. The rest, like we have cousins out the wazoo, aunts and uncles, like crazy. They were all very surprised. And I was supposed to tell them on Christmas. We have a big, huge Christmas party that we do every year. And it's like 50 people. And it was our first time getting back together since COVID. And I was going to tell everybody there in the white elephant game. Like I had this whole plan. Somebody was going to like open this picture frame of the sonogram. I'm pregnant. Guess who I am? And you get $100, like something like that. It was going to be like a whole big thing. And then Southwest shut down. All our flights were canceled. We were stranded. Didn't get to go home. So I had to do it on FaceTime with everybody. And everyone was just like shocked and like, wait, what? Because I had said no for so long and I'm 40 now. So they kind of like gave up. They're like, okay, she said no, she meant it, you know? So everybody was surprised, but so happy. And I've just been getting text messages from family and they're still like, oh man, I'm still so shocked, but I'm so happy for you. Like, it's the best thing ever. And I think everyone did a great job of respecting that I didn't want kids for so long. So they didn't like put pressure on me or be like, are you sure? Are you know what I mean? Like they kind of just respected it. And then now that I'm saying I'm pregnant, now like the true feelings are coming out like, oh, I'm so happy. Like you're going to love it. It's the best. It's so hard, but it's the best. So I feel like now everybody's true feelings are coming out.
Well, what was the big change? You know, like you didn't want kids for so long. Was there something that happened where you're going, you know, what am I doing? Or, you know, maybe I should give this. Was there something that happened in your life that kind of changed your mind around having kids?
Yes, COVID. When everything shut down and we were all home and nobody was on the road, there was no production, so I didn't have any auditions or meetings or anything like that. The whole world had shut down. And I finally was able to be home and enjoy my home. Like I had a beautiful balcony that had no furniture on it because I never had time to go sit on my balcony and like overlook the city. And like I had never enjoyed the fruits of my labor. It's always been go, 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 hustle, hustle, next thing, next. And I was home and I was resting and I was enjoying my life. And this was the very first time that I didn't have a desire to be an actress, where I wasn't like missing it. I wasn't like, oh, when are we going to get back going again? I was like, if I don't book another gig, I'm okay. And I don't think I want to go back on the road as much as I was on the road. I don't want to go back to a grind and a hustle. Like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. And this was the first time I had felt that because my career had always been my baby. And I felt like my honest feelings were kids were like a consolation prize to me. If I had kids, and that must mean I didn't get my dream. I didn't achieve what I wanted to in my career. And this was the first time that I felt my career was not as fulfilling as I thought it once was. And it was like a big reality check for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I mess up? Should I have had kids? Oh no, I always thought my career was just the most fulfilling thing ever. And now I'm like, oh, I don't even care if I have that anymore. And so that's when I started looking into it, being like, do I even have options? Because at that point I was like 38 and I was like, what if I don't have any eggs? Like, I have no clue. I had never looked into it because I didn't care. And I was like, maybe I should call my doctor and be like, hey, what's going on in there? And so that's how it started. And I started taking tests and like do blood work. And they're like, oh yeah, if you want to do something, you better hurry up because you don't have much time left. Like all your levels are low, egg counts low, everything's low. Like you got to step on it, honey. So that's kind of what happened.
Well, that's great. I think COVID did that. Not necessarily made people want to have kids, but they kind of reevaluated their life and what was going on currently and made some decisions. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was to have a baby. Maybe it was to change careers. Right. Maybe it was to, you know, stop and smell the roses. I totally relate to, you know, what you're saying in regards to you're not being able to sit and actually enjoy what you've made for yourself, which is a shame. You know, like I'd sit there too and go, man, I'm working so hard, but for what? You know, you come mm-hmm. home and you got no, you know, I was sitting on a kiddie table for a year and a half. We finally got a dining.
That's hard to get off the wheel.
Dining room table, you know? So yeah, it is hard to get off the wheel. I'm glad that you kind of had that realization. and now you're having you're going to start a family, which is fantastic. So your nail salon bit is just iconic. It's one of those things where I remember when it first came out and everybody was talking about it. They still talk about it. When you did the bit, was it one of your favorite bits? And did you kind of know, oh yeah, this thing's going to kill? Or was it a surprise to you that it was as popular as it was? I mean, sometimes you don't know. And I was just wondering, in the back of your head, did you kind of always know that that was just a staple in your act? And do you still do the bit?
All great questions. I would say yes and yes. I started stand-up comedy by taking a free joke writing stand-up comedy class at my church on Tuesday nights, because it was a entertainment type church. A lot of actors, producers, directors went to this church. So every Tuesday night they would have creative arts night, and they would have like dance classes, acting classes, production classes, like whatever you wanted to get in, they had a class. So I was in the acting class, and we'd do improv games, and I was funny. And then there was this stand-up comedian who saw me. She's like, hey, do you want to come take my joke writing class? And I was like, I don't know, is it free? And she was like, yeah. I was like, I guess. I had no desire to be a comic. And I was like, well, I do this like nail salon character. I'm pretty sure I could make that into a joke. And she was like, nail salon jokes are so hacky. Stay away from nail salon jokes. And I was like, I don't know if anybody does it like me, though. I'm just going to do it anyway. And that's how it started. So I didn't know that it was going to blow up like it did, but I knew there was something to it. I knew I had a point of view, the accent. I knew I had something that other people did not have with this. But I had no clue that it was going to change my life, that it was going to become a part of pop culture, that it was going to become something beyond a joke now. This joke has become nostalgic for people. And it's one of those things that, like, I'll have girls at my show and they're like, oh my gosh, my friends and I have been quoting you since we were in high school. And I'm like, wait, aren't we the same age? Hold on. But I have people that are just like, every time I see that video, it reminds me of my dad, because he used to watch your video when he was going through chemo. And it's become like something that people hold on to and they quote regularly, like one line of the joke, they'll quote it in their everyday life. And I think about it how I do with like old movies that I used to watch, like Wayne's World, Dumb and Dumber. There are specific lines from those old movies that I use in my everyday life that only people who are, 80s, 90s babies will like get it. But it's anything from just like Game On, and I'll just speak from it, Wayne's World or whatever. And just like, all these random quotes from old movies that are stuck in my brain and they come out in my everyday language. That joke is that for some people. So I cannot believe that this joke that I wrote in this free class at a church has become that for someone.
Amazing.
Well,
and yes, I still do it. I do it at my shows. And at this point, I do it almost as a thank you to my audience, because I know that this joke is probably how people have heard of me in this audience. This is, like I said, something that's beyond a joke now, and it's very nostalgic for people. So I do my whole set, and then at the very end, I kind of present it as a thank you for riding with me for so long. Here you go. And it's just, eruption and magical goosebumps every time, because it's not just I'm laughing at a funny joke, it's memories come up, energy of just like, oh my gosh, high school, oh my gosh, that road trip, oh my gosh, my dad, oh my gosh, like all these things start coming up when you hear these words coming out. So it's like you feel the energy just explode in that bit.
Well, it's like when people do an imitation of a nail salon lady, they do you. It's not even, they're not even doing like
The nails.
not even
Yeah.
doing the nails. They're doing your joke, which is, you don't really find that a lot. Like a lot of times comedians just have jokes and no one really remembers them or whatnot. But to have like an iconic joke like that is something really special. I want to leave you with this, and I don't know if you've given this any thought, but you said you're kind of in Tennessee, you're in Los Angeles. Have you given any thought to kind of where you want to raise your kid? Does the environment affect, a lot of people say, raising a kid in Los Angeles is really difficult just because of the environment. The South, some people say great place to raise a kid, Tennessee, maybe the school systems, public school system, a lot better there than it is here in Los Angeles. Any thoughts, or are you just going to take this kid all over the place?
We have thought about it and talked about it, but we don't have an answer to it. All of those things that you just said, like raising a child in the South, like the quality of life is different, the school system's different. But at the same time, most of my community is California, and I'm very big on community and family. I have community in Nashville, but for the most part, my people are California. We do want to travel with our child. We have some friends that the wife works from home on the computer, and the husband is an actor, and they took a year off and homeschooled their kids, and they just traveled the world, and they went to Spain and they went to Italy, and they just taught their kids by being in these different places, and their children are, so cultured and so in tune with the world and not just what's happening in their school in LA or whatever it is. And so we look at people like that and are just inspired. Not that we're going to do that, but we're inspired by that. And that seems like a beautiful way to live. I have friends, they're a duo, a husband and wife duo. They're called Johnny Swim, and they have 3 children. And they'll tour on their tour bus, and they bring their kids and their nanny and their band, and they do like small tours of 3 weeks at a time. And then they come off the road and they live their life at home, and they put their kids in school, and then they schedule another tour, and then they go with their kids on the tour. And I look at things like that, and that's inspiring to me. So I feel like we're going to kind of bounce around, but my roots are definitely California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see 1,000 kids, over the course of your career. Has it been abundantly clear that the people that travel internationally, that those kids are a lot more well-rounded than, say, a kid who's just doing the 9 to 5 wherever the hell he is? Are you seeing that as a doctor?
No, I don't think, not the travel necessarily, but I think it's sort of the environment around them and the support they have around them wherever that location is. And then if you have a British child, those kids are just smarter because they sound better than us. No, no, but and what's interesting about travel, and you said it's hard to live in different places. I think during COVID, a lot of people moved out of LA. We saw a lot of families moving out because of the stress of LA and realizing that was difficult and moving to different places. But I really think it just depends on what you have around you. Can I ask you a question? We have a lot of obviously families who listen and probably expecting parents as well. And I get asked a lot about birth plans. Do you have a specific one? You seem sort of like go with the flow type person. Is that the plan, or is there something specific?
Go with the flow is where I'm at right now. Yeah. I'm sure I'll start zoning in. Honestly, once I come off, I'm finishing my tour right now. And I think once I finish that and come off the road and I actually have time to nest and do all of that, I'm sure I will prepare and plan more. But I think right now I'm kind of just taking it one day at a time and being like, whoa, my belly has popped. Whoa, that these things are changing. But I probably will come up with a plan. But as of now, I'm just like, we'll have a baby. And
See, but I think that's great, because I think a lot of times we have so much expectation that we need it to be done a certain way, and then we're disappointed if something changes. That's sometimes nice to sort of go to flow and see on the internet that you have the size of, like, you have a rutabaga right now, or whatever vegetable that we don't know the size of.
Right.
It's growing inside of you.
But I've had 2 kids, and could you explain what the hell a birth plan is? I don't even know if we had one.
No, I think people, the expectation of when they go in the hospital, what they're going to have, anesthesia, those type of things around the delivery, the plan, and a lot of times things change, and I think a lot of the right ways.
Do we know, or are you willing to say if it's a boy or a girl, or do we surprise? Or
I'm planning on telling the world on my last tour date, which is going to be in Los Angeles. I started my tour in Los Angeles at the Wiltern last year on March 25th, and I'm ending it at the Wiltern on February 11th. And so I'm planning on announcing to the world then what we're having, and just kind of include my fans and my audience in that,
Nice try.
Well, I thought I'd ask. Well, we're gonna have to wait till February.
Again, you're not getting the exclusive. Sorry.
Well, we're a huge show. I mean, we have about 5 or 6 listeners as we speak, so it would have been a huge reveal. Listen, I know you're a busy woman. You're a pregnant woman, and you're a career woman, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak with us. We wish you all the best. You are going to get a book from us, Dr. Cohen's book.
Congratulations.
And we will be in touch, and we can't wait to see your new baby.
Thank you. Can't wait for our next booking. Our friendship.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs, and about your concerns for yourself and your family.